Now, we'll now turn our attention back to Paula Radcliffe, to the screen. So as we wait for Paula to come up, and we'll have a chance to ask her a few questions. I'll start with a few questions before we go to the floor. How you doing, Paula?
I'm good, thank you, Charmaine. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Now, Paula, first question for you. You now have 2 young kids. Do you see the spark, the athletic spark in any of them right now?
Absolutely. I think they were probably born having really benefited already from sport, given that I was able to continue with my sport through my pregnancy. And I remember the midwives were amazed when my daughter was first born that she actually had some muscle tone there. And then both of them have kind of grown up surrounded by sport. And my husband and I are very, very keen to encourage them to take part in sport. We don't really mind what sport. It's up to them to choose the sport that lights that passion, lights the fire within them. But for the benefits that sport can bring, I just want them to try as many as possible and experience the fun and the enjoyment and everything else that comes with that sport. My daughter will be 5 next week, and she's always running around. She's on her bike, she's swimming, she's rollerblading. She's, of course, coming down to the track, a little bit more interested in climbing the monkey bars and jumping in the sandpit than running at the moment. But my son is only just walking, so he's just runs absolutely everywhere.
Excellent. Sounds like fun. Now, Paula, let's get to your training now. You're doing your altitude training there in Kenya, getting ready for the games in your hometown. How are your preparations going right now?
They're going really well, thank you. I'm out here for a month this time, out in Kenya, and I did a month back in November. It's actually a higher altitude than I've trained at before, and I definitely felt the benefits from it coming back to Europe last time, and I'm hoping that they will be bigger this time because the training is able to have gone up a notch here as well. And I think it's really about just making this year count in every way possible for me. I've come away from the last 2 Olympic Games very disappointed and very determined to make this one count, even though it probably will be the last one of my career. I really want to go out on a high note, and I think the fact that it's in London and that I have such good support from people like P&G going into it means that I can really concentrate on just getting it right on the day, and hopefully that will be good enough.
Well, we're sure behind you. Now, Paula, we have a room full of journalists who are just waiting now to ask you a few questions. So I'm going to take now some questions from the floor. And if you can please state your name and your media affiliation. And Paula has just a short amount of time here. So if we can go to the floor with 1 or 2 questions, and then I'll certainly relay those back to you, Paula. Okay, so I see one down there. Please.
Oui, bonjour, Paula. Marc... Tu m'entends?
Okay, we're just waiting for your question. Please, go ahead.
Oui.
If you'd like to stand up and perhaps come a little closer and...
Tu m'entends? Oui, voilà. Bonjour Paula, Marc Ventouillac de l'équipe à l'appareil. 2 petites questions. Tu as dit que c'était...
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Tu as dit que c'était peut-être sûrement tes derniers Jeux. Est-ce que les Jeux Olympiques risquent d'être ta dernière course? Et sinon, où est-ce que tu as prévu de courir avant les Jeux?
Paula, did you hear that? Okay.
Non, j'en suis sûre que... Oui, merci. J'en suis sûre que ce ne sera pas ma dernière course. J'ai envie de continuer aussi long que je peux, aussi long que mon corps il le supporte. Mais je sais que 4 ans jusqu'au Rio, ça risque d'être peut-être un peu long. Avant, j'ai prévu de faire quelques semis et quelques 10 kilomètres. Et puis après de continuer avec des marathons, mais je ne vais pas faire un marathon avant les Jeux maintenant. So just to recap in English, I was just saying that there is no doubt that the Olympics will not be my last race. I want to continue on as long as I possibly can, as long as it's still something that I enjoy doing, which it is, and as long as my body can continue to withstand the training and the preparation. But I do think that Rio may be a little bit too far, so realistically this may well be my last Olympics, but I certainly envisage competing at many more races after the Olympic Games. And in preparation, I will be racing a couple of half marathons, maybe some 10Ks, and then I will race more full marathons after the Olympic Games. I won't race a full marathon before the Olympic Games.
Excellent. Another question, please, front row. Please state your name and media affiliation.
Okay, My name is Evelyn Wata. I'm from Kenya, sportsnewsarena.com. I'm wondering, you had an injury on your left ankle last summer. How is it going? Did you have surgery on it? How are you recovering? How do you feel? Thank you.
I feel good, thank you. I had the surgery just 5 days after the Berlin Marathon. I had a small bone osteophyte which had become detached and was floating around the top of my foot, catching in the ligaments and just generally causing pain in the build-up. So it was something that was known about and scheduled, quite routine to have it removed. I think I'd been back running about 2 weeks before I came back out to in Iten, Kenya in November. The training went very well and I went back and my foot was able to go onto the track and do sessions that I hadn't been able to do since 2009. So I was very, very encouraged by that, and coming back here again now, it's coping really well with the running out here and getting stronger every day. So I'm very pleased with where my training's at right now.
Excellent. I think we have time for one more question. One more question. All right, well, with that, Paula, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us, and we wish you all the best in your training over the next month, and we'll see you in London. Thank you for joining us, Paula.
Thank you very much.
Paula Radcliffe, everyone.